Hello mga kababayan, welcome to my channel. Welcome to Laruan ni Obi-Wan. For today's review, we have the Phantom, the Ghost Who Walks from the original Superheroes line done by Neca. Let's do a quick 360 of the box packaging. And as for the product codes, for those of you who are interested or looking at this at your local stores, Walmart or Target, so we have the product codes. And as for the character bio, so we have a quick history of the Phantom on the back of the box and a cool card art or toy photography art. Let us examine the contents of our purchase. So we have the Phantom action figure. We have, of course, different handsets to hold on to the different accessories that are associated with this figure. These two devices over here are muzzle devices for the pistols or the dual long slide 1911s. I bought this figure at my local Target, so just check your local Targets for availability. So for height of this figure stands around the 7-ish mark, your standard NECA sized figure. Okay, so let's discuss articulation points for this action figure. So let's start with the head. So for the head, we have decent side to side movement. We also have rocking side to side movement. And for head tilts, looking upwards. So how does that pronounce in a distance? So good head tilts, looking up, looking downwards. So really nice head tilts looking downwards. So for the body, we have an abdominal crunch, and we really have audible clicks for the abdominal crunch. So for crunching forward, so how does that pronounce from a distance? Oh, so decent. As for backward tilts, so let's really stretch the joint. So backward tilts from a distance, so decent point of articulation for the body. And lastly, we have rotation on the waistline. So rotation on the waistline is quite hindered because of the thickness of the pistol belt. But this pistol belt also hides the unsightly articulation point whenever you move the waistline to the side, and this side of the abdomen protrudes and breaks the design of the action figure. So with the pistol belt, as you could see from a distance, it really hides this piece. So it is a blessing in disguise to have a really thick pistol belt. So for the arms of the figure, we have nice rotation of the arms. The arms could lift sidewards this much. So we have rotation on the biceps, 2 points of articulation for the elbow, a hinge, and rotation for the hand. So for the legs, we have the articulation point hidden for the thigh. So that is a thigh articulation point for rotation or circular movement. So for the knee, we have 2 points of articulation for the knee. We also have boot rotation. And as for the legs, for the foot, we have a hinge, we have a rocker, and we have toe articulation. So For raising the legs, the whole leg upwards, forwards I mean, so depends on how you should weight that rotational point for the thigh. So you could move the leg forward this much and even to the side, so it just doesn't look silly. So for backwards movement, you could also do that much. And the briefs are just soft rubbery plastic, which allows for that kind of movement. So for articulation point, this is a really nicely posable figure. So from a grading point of 1 to 10, articulation point, I'm going to give this an 11. As for accessories, the accessories on this action figure has really been thought of. So basically, when you take the figure out of packaging, you're going to have fists attached to the figure. So swapping the handsets out are just nice and easy. It is not hard to do. Now, the second handset that we're going to have would be these pistol holding hands, and we also have a muzzle device that could be attached to the end of the pistol to mimic a shooting effect. Now we also have a specific handset to hold on to the whip. So the whip of this action figure, so let's put this figure aside first. So let's take a look at the whip. So it is also nicely detailed. The handle, actually the base of the handle, or the carry handle, or the whipping handle, has a skull on it, and the whipping side is actually not just made of soft rubbery plastic. Actually, it is a bend tie. So really nice touch on those who thought of this idea to give us this kind of whip, wherein we could bend the whip according to our pleasure. So we could bound this and at the end possibly attach it to the side of the figure, or we could display this in a whipping motion against a bad guy or an animal. So the handset that comes with it also has a really specific handset, and for each of the handsets that comes with the figure, as you could see, we have those skull rings attached to the finger, or molded onto the finger I mean, of each handset. So if you also wish not to change handsets but display the figure with the whip, and you don't wish to interchange the hand that is associated with the whip, you could just make use of the pistol holding hand, but we are going to have the trigger finger protruding that way. But with regards to posability, it is just also possible if you wish, and you could reholster the 1911 long slide to the side of the figure, so giving him that kind of effect. So as for interchangeability of the head sculpt, so we also have a specific handset for this accessory. So you have a splayed hand. It actually is a right hand, and that could hold on to the skull for display purposes. But this skull is also articulated. The jaw has movement on it, but right out of packaging you have to straighten out the point of articulation on this side, because mine, when I took this out of packaging, the this part somehow was disengaged, so I had to take out the pliers and really pop that back in. But we have articulation point for the skull. So just a quick 360, and if you wish also to use this as an alternate head sculpt, it is possible. So just a quick 360 of this accessory. Okay, so those are all the accessories that are associated with this Phantom figure. So it's a really nice set to have. So if we're going to do a little bit of nitpicking for this figure with regards to detail, it's going to be just some minor details. Would be, for example, on the abdomen portion, we have those gapping spaces. Well, it's really going to depend on the copy that you will be able to secure. And as for the pistols, the pistol grip is just way too short for a 1911 long slide. But with regards to the design, it is not made of soft rubbery plastic. Actually, it is nicely made. So it is made of hard plastic, so it is not bendable. And with regards to detail, if you are a gun guy, you know that all the dials of a 1911 are there. So including the little details on the pistol grip. So we also have those skull logos left and right. It is there. And we also have a skeletonized trigger on this small 1911. We have really raised sights for sight acquisition, considering that this is a long slide. So a really great feature. The only thing is the pistol grip is just way too short. As you could see, when the action figure is holding on to that weapon, it is just way too short. So even if you situate the weapon deeply into the handset, you still know that it is just way too short for a 7+1 capacity, because for a pistol like this, we need to have at least the pistol grip covering the whole palm. So this is not a concealed carry weapon, it is a competition or a combat weapon, and we have a very short pistol grip. Anyway, that is just a minor nitpick for this figure, but overall design, especially the head sculpt, this is what I really love. As you could take a look at the mask, it is not just painted material. Actually, we have molding for the mask. So as you could see, you really know that he has a head mask on, especially for the eye sockets. So the molding of that black mask is also there. And we also even have done the cheeks, so that is also molded plastic. So really nicely detailed. Especially I really loved the color tone that matches for the handsets. As you could see, it is a complete match, because sometimes we have different color tones for action figures. The head would have a different color tone compared to the handsets which are included, but with all the handsets, it matches the color tone of the face. We have the Phantom figure with other action figures in my lot. So we have G.I. Joe Classified Series represented by Duke. We have Marvel Legends represented by Captain America. We have Masters of the Universe Revelations represented by He-Man. Neca represented by Arnold the 800, and McFarlane Toys represented by Classics Superman. So as for the size comparisons, here you go. So this action figure, if you wish to play with it, it is a toy. If you want to display it, it becomes a statue. So all in all, it's a playable statue or figurine. So it is what I would call the best of both worlds. We have good points of articulation, we have good accessories on board that are included, and the accessories are nicely made. And with regards to just basically the figure, there is nothing to complain much about the figure. So looks great on display in your shelf, and also is a fun to play with. So that is my overall conclusion with this figure. Rating of 1:10, it's going to be a 12. So if you like this video, like, comment, and subscribe, and see you on the next action figure review.